Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of KDM, which stands for Kit Dimitri Movies. A movie review show it's for our pleasure and yours. Hopefully, you'll find this entertaining. Brand new show in the market, so please tell everybody, share it with all. And again, it stands for Kit Dimitri Movies. The Kit being my good friend and colleague birthday girl. I am so remiss. Happy birthday, Kit Bowen.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that happened this week. Another
Yes.
year around the sun.
Another trip around the sun.
Yeah,
There you go.
there
And
it
you're waking up on the right side of bed, the top side.
is. Right.
There you go. So today we have the second half of our of our double feature. We saw two movies this week. They were back to back. It wasn't a traditional double feature, but it is the second half of the Barbenheimer, let's say. We talked Oppenheimer, so that'll be posted soon. And right now, we are going to talk all things pink and Barbie. Yeah. So
And I think for the first time we may disagree. We may not have the same exact sentiments for this film. So
that is perhaps, and that is why I know we briefly talked, just a little insight, folks, a little behind the scenes. We usually we try to see movies together at screenings. This wasn't one of those opportunities where we did, so there was really no communication other than Kit saying, "Oh, I loved it," and I said, "Nah, not so much." So, but I'm really thrilled because I'm looking forward to. I knew you were looking forward to this movie, as was I.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to your perspective, and I really at some point want to talk about my movie going experience,
Oh,
which actually was fantastic. So,
oh.
and I'll tell you all about that and why. But Kit, happy birthday again.
You
So talk Barbie with me.
Barbie. I did have some high expectations for this one,
Did
especially
you? Okay.
well, just especially from the trailers and everything. It just looked really funny and fun, and it's kind of silly, and just that kind of a film that I think it actually is a good film to juxtaposition against Oppenheimer, because Oppenheimer is so deep, and the creation of nuclear war and all of that. So you got that going for you on that one. And you go skip over to which like I did. I enjoyed it very much. I saw it with my daughter. We both laughed a lot. It is it's very silly. The concept basically is that, Barbie, she's Margot Robbie's Barbie. She is the original stereotypical Barbie is what they call her, but there are all kinds of Barbies. You've got President Barbie, you've got Justice Supreme Court Barbie, you've got all these great Barbies, right? And they live in Barbie land, and they think that they have changed the world for the better for little girls, for women all over, because because they're also empowered in Barbie land. And then she ends up going to Barbie land, and she ends up going to the real world and finding out that that's not necessarily the case. Now, Ken, on the other hand, played by complete scene stealing Ryan Gosling, it's just, and apparently he lobbied pretty hard for this part.
Uh-huh.
He read the script and really wanted to do it. Anyway, he goes with Barbie to the real world and realizes, oh, men are kind of running the business here. So it's this idea of female empowerment. It is, maybe that's what spoke to me about it. But also the idea that the balance of power can always change. And in Barbie land, the men are on the second tier while the women are on the top tier. And I just liked how it played with those concepts. And it definitely, has some poignant moments. And kind of you walk away with it sort of feeling good, because it sends out a message about just being who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man or whatever, you are who you are. And I liked that message. I thought it was a good message. Now, did it completely wow me? No. I mean, there's some really silly parts to it. And, it gets a little bit, muddled, but I still enjoyed it a lot. And like I said, I laughed more than I did anything else. The musical numbers were fun. Gosling was definitely one of my favorites, but also Michael Cera as Alan just on the floor. Will Ferrell, who plays, the CEO of Mattel, he was pretty funny. There was sort of, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Elf in the way that they get from Barbie Land to the real world. They have to go
Right.
through all these different like.
That's a good comparison.
That was
Yeah,
that was
I
kind of
agree.
fun. And yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it, just as me as a little girl, I did not play with Barbie. Barbie was not my thing. But had nothing to do with anything, but I just couldn't really. I had rag dolls and things like that, and I had like little what they called them kittles back in the day.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I played with those. And so, I mean, and my daughter, she reminded me that I did get her a Barbie. I don't think I got her a Barbie. I think somebody else got her a Barbie. I'm pretty sure I didn't get it for her. But she said she had them too. I don't know. And then of course it kind of does kind of give you a bit of a historical background to why Barbie was created, and this is true. Ruth Handler, she and her husband were in furniture making, and she created the Barbie character, the Barbie doll, because she felt like there wasn't enough of a representation of what all the dolls were either baby dolls or they, that kind of thing. So there wasn't anything sort of contemporary for a little girl to play with. Anyway, so
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Well,
ahead.
that's good. No, and again, I respect, I appreciate the perspective too, and I think that's what makes this show great, because we're not only good friends, we have a good we bring a lot to the table with our opinions, whether we agree or not. Look, I think for me, to me, there was when the movie was done, there was a lot for me to unbox about Barbie, the movie. And I was grappling. I had a hard time with this. I tweeted this out last night. I couldn't figure out if this movie was a hot mess or it's one of the best movies of the summer. And at the end of the day, as I'm putting my review together, I'm somewhere in between. I don't think it's a hot mess, but it's not the best movie of the summer. It's not one of the better movies of the summer for me either. To me, Barbie, this movie, it's a movie of extremes. And yes, there is a message there, which I'll get into, because I think it's important, because this is why I call it a movie of two extremes. On one hand, you have the Barbie world, right? And in the Barbie world, it's almost utopia. It's a female-driven utopia. We have a Black woman president. To your point, there's Barbie Supreme Court justices, they're psychiatrists, they're laureates. They have these great, respectful positions of great power, deservedly so. No problem with it. There is still a little bit of schism, though, because, people do shun the weird Barbie, and to an extent, they shun this Alan. Yeah. And then there are the Kens, who are pretty much, mimbos. But okay, so my problem with the Barbie world, while all of that sounds great, I was like, okay, what is Barbie president of, really? She's president of a cheap plastic fake world that it's beach party all the time and girls' night is every night, and there's nothing like, what are you president of? Like, what are they like? There was nothing to say that this is a beautiful land other than it was a fake land. Okay, so that's that. And I'm like, is this really, like, this is the best that a woman can achieve, is being president of a fake, cheesy plastic land? And then there's the real world. Now, in our real world, yes, there is a schism that we hope to, in way, shape, or form. I think we've come a long way. I'm not saying we don't have more to go. In this world, in this Barbie real world, yes, it's male dominated. But again, like, the men are stupid.
Mm.
Like every man in this movie is stupid and made to look stupid, including America Ferrera's husband, who's trying to learn her language to like communicate, which I think is a nice thing, but he's made to look like he's an idiot. And then you have Will Ferrell. I will say about Will Ferrell, one of the funniest things he's done on the big screen in a long time. He's very, it was of the Will Ferrell that I think we know and love,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
He was really funny. I get it, and it's a real world where they put women in a box. Okay, I get it. So here we have these two extremes, but there was nothing in that movie that said, well, can we go somewhere in the middle, guys? Can we make this like can there be a positive view? Can a woman have a great position of power where it actually means something? And can we here in this Barbie world, can we include men to do things and help us along? And it's great that we have all this, but the movie never says that at all. And I get it. It's woman empowerment that doesn't speak to me, and people can say you don't have a right to talk about this. No, I do actually, because if you say I don't, then that's what you're winning my argument for me. And I think that this part of the movie, for me, I loved everything, even including going to the real world, and even everything in the real world that happened. Where it went off the rails for me is when they went back to Barbie world.
Yeah.
After the Planet of the Apes change, right? They go back to Barbie world. Patriarchy, they should have called it patriarchy, cocky, because they made it a bad word. And it's what's happened. But for a movie that wanted to play against stereotypes, it really leaned into stereotypes, especially in Barbie world and in the real world. Like, okay, construction workers, hey, does a shake come with that fry, or fries come with that shake, and blah blah blah. And then back in Barbie world, it's like, yeah, oh, you have mansplaining of the Godfather. It's like, come on, there are some women who like Godfather. I mean, come on, like this is all stereotypical stuff. It didn't go anywhere that was overly clever. There were the opening was the funniest take of 2001 A Space Odyssey since Mel Brooks's The History of the World Part 1. It was hysterical.
Yeah.
Going into the Barbie world, I got it. I loved it. From Barbie Wake. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Even going into the real world, realizing, like, I thought that was a great scene. Realizing, wow, we didn't inspire. Like, wow, what's going on here? Like, I appreciated all that, but then when we get back to the Barbie world, there was this like, I'm like, what is going on here? And are kids really gonna like this?
It did get a little sillier when they go back to the Barbie world, but what I think was interesting about that, and you're right, they don't really kind of show you that they're all gonna mix together, but then it is kind of implied, and I sort of got that they would, because if there's a shot at the end where you have the Supreme Court justice, there's men and women on it. I don't know if you saw that shot, but
I didn't see that shot. But yeah, I mean, but I know that they asked, the men asked, and there was no.
But at the same time, I think what ends up happening at the end of it, which is it can be a little trite at the same time, but it is be who you are. So the Kens, they went over the top, right? They took to the extreme of being macho, blah blah blah, because this is what Ken saw. And Ken's not a person. I mean, he's definitely not a bright guy. It doesn't matter if he's a Ken or not. He's just not. So he takes he's not right. So he took what he saw in the real world as like truth and brings it back, and they all kind of just go with it. So obviously that's to an extreme. But I think at the end of it, where they say, I'm just me, I thought, okay, so that's how it's going to be. It's basically everyone will have a say, kind of, even though the
But
women are still sort of and you're right, there really isn't a whole lot they're president of, but that's their world. So we have to live in that is the universe.
which I understand, but it goes from one extreme to the other extreme. And when, by the end, I didn't feel that much. Again, I'm like, what are you president of? Like, what are you making rules? But well, of course it does, because it's a powerful job. And I'm like, what are you presiding over? What is it? You're presiding of beach parties? Like, and then they talked about this constitution. I go, constitution of what? Show me what this world and how this world like works. Now, I get it. I enjoyed the Toy Story aspect of it, meaning it's like Toy Story, even a little bit of Tron, dare I say.
Yeah.
Because there's a fissure that opens between the Barbie world and the real world, because a user or a toy player, someone's playing with the Barbie doll, and this person's thoughts as they're playing with this doll or looking at it go through this fissure and set into the stereotypical Barbie. And so she has these thoughts of death, and she becomes flat-footed. That stuff I thought was like so on point, and so and it was a really great surprise because the whole mission is stereotypical Barbie. You want to fix this? You got to go to the real world, find out who your player is, your user is, and you got to talk to them and say, hey, and you could fix this, close the fissure, everything will be back to normal.
Right.
So that's the mission. Right. And when you find out who the player is, I found that to be like, I wished it had a little bit more of the adult nostalgia of it. Like, an adult. Yeah, I thought I wanted to see, to me, it kind of.
Did you?
No, but again, all right, I want to, no, but there has never been a time in my life where Barbie has not existed. And this, I think you could say the same.
Yeah.
Barbie has existed throughout my entire life. And Barbie, to me, Barbie has always been a sign of the times. I grew up with girls who played with Barbie. I had cousins who played with Barbie, family, friends, girls played with Barbies. I got it. And being that I was a product of Saturday morning television, it's really hard not to catch Barbie commercials because they seemed like they were in every commercial break. So
by the way,
fashion. Yeah.
Just FYI, I did read this, that to this day, that is still one of the top selling toys of all time.
Oh, I know. And I wanted to get to that too, because I think that's a testament to the doll. And this is why it's a sign of the times. Barbie has always evolved. I've seen the doll be canonized. She's a fashion plate. She's someone to look up to. She's stylish. She's cool. She changed with the time. She's physically fit. She's in spandex. She's got the video. I remember the commercials for that video Barbie, right? And then went from canonization to demonization.
Yes.
No woman could ever live up to the standards of Barbie. Yep. Nobody could ever have that figure. Nobody could look that good. And women don't love to wear heels, blah, blah, blah. Mattel and company did, again, they evolutionized, they changed. Barbie changed with the times, and hence we get multicultural Barbies. We get Barbies that represent the world.
Yes.
And all types. And we get Barbies that are president. We get executive Barbie. We get this Barbie. Barbie always
Barbies. We get,
disabled. Yep. And proud to say, Barbie's even been a member of Starfleet. It was Star Trek Barbie. So, and there was a Ken, and there was a Barbie and Ken in Starfleet attire, original classic attire. So Barbie's been in Starfleet. To me, that's the longevity of what Barbie is. Like, there are Disney Barbies. There are so many Barbies. Barbie has changed with the times, and this right here, to me, is just a changing of the time. It's a sign of this time. this Barbie movie is definitely a sign of the times, which is fantastic. Now, I want to talk about the movie going experience, and I want to talk about Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the movie, my movie going experience, and I want you to share yours too, because I have a feeling yours might have been a little bit similar to mine. My movie going experience was fantastic because it was multi-generational.
Mhm.
It was multicultural. I saw families, I saw fathers with daughters, and I saw a whole lot of pink.
Me too. We did. We did.
And
And
how special is
especially young
that?
and like, 20 somethings. Like the
Oh,
scene
hell
next,
yeah.
they were on a date. It was a guy and a girl on a date.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And that's what I mean. It was, and that's why I say multi-generational, because I saw some older folk. I saw older, like some, I don't know, middle-aged woman, let's say, or whatever. I don't want to do, but all wearing pink. It was as if it was like, I remember like women going to like Sex in the City, but
Yeah.
this was more so because this is broader. So I saw women dressed in pink. I saw men dressed in pink. I was a killjoy. I wore blue.
I
But
would think.
of course, and which is, look, to me, that makes Barbie. It's an event picture
Yeah.
in which total strangers come into a theater of 300, and they're there to celebrate a doll, not a superhero, not a Jedi, but a doll.
A doll that has, like you said, been in the vernacular for hundreds of years, for
It's older than me. But I
dozens
mean,
of years, dozens of decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found that to be so special. And to me, that's the magic, but the power and the magic of a movie going experience that you could never get in your living room. To see all these people, to see a father and daughter, actually,
Right.
as I was walking out, I was like, okay, this has to be the sweetest thing I'm going to see today. And that's so nice. And the daughter was all dressed up in pink. And, Warner Brothers has done a fantastic job in marketing this movie.
Oh, yeah. 100%. The best, probably the best marketing job this year, I would imagine. It's gonna be this one.
100%. 100%. And I don't know who came up with the stupid Barbenheimer thing, but when you had people like Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie play into it, and then Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig play into this, I think that this is great. Look, if people are double featuring Barbie and Oppenheimer, I think it's great for the business, but I think it's great for movies. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, regardless of my feelings of the Barbie movie. And again, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome that people are going to seek a positive experience and to go to cinema together. I know that father and daughter are not double featuring Oppenheimer. I know that for a fact. I was sitting in this theater and saying, look what Barbie's brought together. And to me, that's great. That's what I've grown. Like, that's why the movie going experience for me is ever evolving, because you see this as you grow up.
Yeah.
And I think that is spectacular.
Yeah, and that's why I think this movie actually is going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, but I want to ask you now, because there are some topics in this movie that I was like, okay, daddy gonna have some explaining to do. So, and let me just say this. Earlier this year, there was this fantastic coming of age movie called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. It's a coming of age story.
I watched it on the plane, and it was very delightful.
I mean, it's just I one of my favorites of the year, and it dealt with it.
Yeah.
It honestly dealt with a topic that, maybe not the most comfortable. I had never seen it portrayed in such a way, but the movie got a lot of flack.
But that's how we were.
I get it.
100%. I was like that. I was like, when am I gonna get my period? Everybody else is, it's like this rite of passage that women go through.
But yet it got flack for that honesty. And here we have a movie where, they talk about, well, I'm just going to say it, but I don't have a vagina and he doesn't have a penis. It's like, oh, okay, so they're going to go there. And then the way that the movie ends, I'm like going, okay, what message does that say? Yay, I have.
Well,
I don't know. Like,
it just, I think the way it ends is basically she's going to be a woman, basically. Yeah.
Well, but okay. Like, I didn't, sure. But is that that's the one feature that, like, I'm just saying, if you had a problem with Margaret movie, right. like I was like going, and some of the stuff going on with the Ken stuff too, it's like, I was like, wow. But then I realized, because the movie plays like an indie movie, right?
Yeah.
And then it's Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. They both wrote the script, the screenplay. Greta Gerwig directed. She did a really fine job. Production design, awesome. But then I'm like going, oh yeah, these are the inspirations for like A Marriage Story.
Right.
Like the knee slapper of that year.
Right.
That chronicles their demise of a marriage. And I'm like, so again, growing up, when you saw the commercials for Barbie, it was always Barbie and Ken. It's not a tough leap to think that they were boyfriend, girlfriend. And I saw girls who were playing with their Barbie and Kens and they had them kiss. Right. Yeah. But in this movie, they shy away from that. And I'm like, okay, what? Okay, I get it. Okay, fine.
Well, they didn't shy away from it.
They did.
She just didn't love him.
Again, yeah, no. Yeah, I get it. And it's like, well, all right. That's that. But again, it's coming from people who hate relationships. And I don't see why there couldn't be that in this movie at all. And not that it makes Barbie, not that she needs the relationship. I'm not saying that. There can be an organic way to have like, yeah, I like you, Ken. You should be a little smarter. And Ken can evolve. She could certainly evolve. There should be no reason. And when I was thinking of Toy Story definitely hits on a nostalgia point, because as we grow up, like, what do we do with our toys? It's like, and a toy's right. But a toy's purpose, as Woody says, a toy's purpose is to be played with. And then this is, no matter whether it's a boy doll, a girl doll, that's what a toy's purpose is. Now, my dolls were, I had the Mego Star Trek dolls. I had the Barbie-esque like bridge set, which was vinyl and it folded out, and it was the bridge of the original Enterprise. Kirk, Spock, Uhura. Yeah, it had a little transporter onto it. I had I never had a G.I. Joe. No G.I. Joe for me. But I had Steve Austin, $6 Million Man. And I guess you can call Evel Knievel was kind of a doll, but he had his cool motorcycle, so I can make him jump and crash, right?
Yeah.
Those were like my dolls. Everything evolved into action figures. But I totally, like, again, Barbie's been around all my life. And I've seen the changes that has happened. And to your point, Barbie's still with us. Why? There's a longevity there. But why? Because the creators are today, they understand that it has to progress. Yes. And if it's a toy that girls can gravitate to, or boys, I don't care, that's fantastic. Yeah. And can we be in a better world today? 100%. Like 100%. We can be, we should be, we should strive for that anyways. The Barbie movie never said that, nope, we got to have one extreme. This is the extreme. The real world, like, men are still going to be stupid. And, but instead of like to me, it would have been better had Barbie like gotten a job. and like gotten
Yeah,
like a half decent job, you know? And I'm like,
well, that's these are all things that I mean, I understand the ending. I can understand that, I thought the ending was going to be a different sort of thing. But the implication is that she's going to just start living her life as a normal woman, and um that included getting a job at some point, maybe.
yeah, you hope. I mean,
I hear your criticisms, and I understand them. I do. They didn't blend it as well as they could have. It was definitely, like you said, the first half to a third of the movie was really
brilliantly conceived and
interesting,
great satire.
yeah, and it was funny, and the mission was very cool. It is when they get back to Barbie Land where I feel it. You're right. It doesn't. I still enjoyed it, but it kind of is. It just didn't
Right.
seem. I felt a little forced and a little silly.
Yeah.
A little too
Yeah. And let's, if we can, I want to talk a little Margot Robbie, because this woman. All right. So I've been a fan. I've said in reviews, I think she's multi-talented, and she's gone down, I think, a fantastic route. When you talk about a woman of inspiration, like she has she has a great gift as an actress, but she also has a business sense. She has a production company. I love that. It's appealing. I loved her in look, she was, Harley Quinn. I thought she was great. I was actually one of the people that actually really liked Birds of Prey.
Oh, I liked it too.
And right, she's great. Whether you like the character or not, you can't take away that Margot Robbie was fantastic in Wolf of Wall Street. She was great, uninhibited, great. She was fantastic in I, Tonya.
Yes,
great. Her movies, for some reason, at least like Birds of Prey, they never really hit. Like Birds of Prey was considered, underwhelming and things like that. And now all of a sudden everybody's talking Margot Robbie. And I'm like, guys, where have you been? Like, she's Oscar nominated. Like, she's really a top tier talent as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And to head her own production company, I'm like, this woman came into this business to act, to maybe put out some good product. I'm like, that's what Barbie is. And as Barbie, she was great. Again, I can't get over the opening and with the wink, her wink and a smile. Like they should have just had the Kens just falling like down like dominoes. And the movie does make fun of her.
Oh yeah.
And which is great. But I gotta tell you, who else I give credit to? Mattel.
Yes.
Mattel took some very, very hard hits.
They sure did. They definitely were they showed themselves as being, not necessarily all that
altruistic.
Yeah.
Right. They took their hits, they took their lumps, and they did it with a smile, and they said, yep.
Now,
they
here's my question.
Yeah.
What? Because I know obviously this movie took a long time to finally come to.
Oh my God, yeah.
And here we are, and it's going to probably be a huge success. So
yeah, it looks it.
What? Wow, the one that Amy Schumer was going to do. What was that? I'm still curious on what that script was.
I don't even want to fathom. I don't want to fathom. I don't think it would have been this. And I think with Robbie getting involved,
and Greta Gerwig,
I don't know, and Greta Gerwig, they kind of get it. There is a little bit of self-effacing. Here's one thing too about that I could say about the movie. Everybody in it, including that Simu, what's his last name? I forget. Yeah, he was actually like fun. Everybody looked like they had fun, and that to me was great. And I think that's why it lends to Will Ferrell like being as like the best he's been on the big screen in a long time. Like that's the Will Ferrell we fell in love with. He's like really funny. You know who else was great to see in this movie? Rhea Perlman.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Rhea. Oh, it's like, is that Rhea Perlman? And then she spoke. I'm like, There's the Cheers woman that I love. Yeah,
Yep.
that's it. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was fantastic. Look,
Yep.
Ryan Gosling, a welcome return to the big screen. We've had two this week. We had Josh Hartnett, now Ryan
Oh, yeah,
Gosling, because he took a vacation.
he did.
So,
He did.
and he's
He made me, I don't know, there was something about him in this that just made me laugh. You
he's
know,
funny.
his facial expressions and
Oh.
just all of the stuff he wanted to do. I don't know. I was laughing at the whole thing. And then Kate McKinnon, of course.
Oh,
You know what? And I read about Kate McKinnon one time that she absolutely never wants to headline a movie. She loves doing this kind of stuff where she
well,
gets
this is the
pop in, be super funny for a second,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then pop out, you know?
She was this is the funniest I think she's been since, I don't know, since, like, well, from a movie perspective, like,
And
she
it's
was
so
really
true. It is such defacing your Barbies where it's cutting the hair and
well, but again, that goes back to the Toy Story, like when you
Yes.
play hard with your toys,
yes,
like this is what, oh, it's like, oh, I got a blemish, oh, I gotta mark that up or whatever. I loved that aspect, and the way that Kate McKinnon played it, she was fantastic. And the weird Barbie was the one that made the sense too.
but she
Um,
called her the weird Barbie, but she was kind of like the wise guru who lived up in the, you know,
who lives up in the hills. Yeah. And Michael Cera, to your point, the funniest thing he's been in such a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice return for him too.
So, you know, I will say about this, Greta Gerwig's direction was fine. I had no problem with the direction. She really did pull and get the best from all of the talent. And I think she made this great, comfortable atmosphere for people to have a good time. It's like, hey, we're making a Barbie movie. Yeah, it's going to be a message, but come on, we're making a Barbie movie. Let's have fun.
Let's have some fun.
And everybody had fun. I have to talk about America Ferrera and the girl that played her daughter, whose name I don't have. Those two should get, they should get special notice too, because I really thought that they were really, they play an important role in the movie. They were very good.
Yeah.
And I think pivotal as being our two mother-daughter in the real world, what Barbie means to them individually and then together.
Yeah.
I think, see, and again, I liked what that had to say.
Yes.
A lot. And I liked, you know, I liked what the daughter had to say about Barbie, the mother had to say about Barbie, but then at the end, coming together.
I saw it with my daughter, and she and I were both we were like looking at each other, and she leaned into me at one point.
May I please ask it, if it's not too, like, how old is she?
Libby's 24.
Okay, great. Oh, great. Yeah, I saw a lot of that age at my screening too. And you said you don't think you bought her the Barbie, but somebody else bought her the Barbie. So
she had like a mermaid Barbie, and she had. But here's the thing about the little extra tidbit about my history with Barbie. I didn't have any Barbies, so when I was in my home, I did not play with Barbies, but I would go every summer to my cousins who were like 1 year down below me and then down below like that. So there's two of my cousins, right? Almost like sisters. I'd go every.
We are going to get cut off soon.
Oh, you're right.
We're under a minute.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. So
I don't know how we
do
this.
I would play Barbies with them. So let me just give my rating for this. I would give this 4 stars.
You're giving it 4. I'm giving it 3. I thought it was meh Barbie.
Yeah.
It was okay Barbie.
Okay.
So there you go.
Right, well,
we had a great time.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody. Enjoy. Thank you. And hope you enjoyed Barbie.
Yeah,
all right. Bye.
Bye-bye.